what type of questions would you want to ask a gladiator that you watched your entire childhood?
It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker. Yo, man. Boom, Miss Rusty. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Public Access Podcast, the podcast here on the Rusty Diamond Podcast Network. Episode number 614 here on November 26, 2024 from Pennsylvania is where I live right now. So thank you, everybody, for listening. If you want to listen, you can go anywhere you listen to podcasts. If you are thinking, hey, I want to look at this guy, I want to see his face, you can go on to YouTube or TikTok. Not TikTok, YouTube or Rumble. Either one of those. It's going to be there. You'll see me. So thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. And it's time for me to bring on my special guest. And my special guest is right here and right now. And my special guest is Lori Fetrick, aka Ice from American Gladiators. So if you find someone that needs to calm down, they're having a tough time one way or another, and you're trying to do the best you can do of how to do that, how would you do that make it the most with the best chance?
You got to give me a scenario because every
Sure.
scenario is different. Because if you think about it, I mean, calming down from, let's say, having, a stressful time, or calming down from an anxiety attack, or calming down because you just hit a car outside. I mean, there's so many different scenarios. Give me a scenario of what you're talking about.
Okay. Let's say someone gets into a car accident and they're having a really hard time. You come up on them and you're wanting to help them be more calm. What would you say? Or then I have a second scenario. If you're in a party or a club or something, and somebody is getting upset about, let's say
You're asking the wrong person.
yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I'm more of I will calm anybody down. I mean, if I can, and it's just a simple, normal, common sense way to calm down.
Which is what?
Talk to them slowly, calm your voice down, maybe because people actually mirror, your emotions. And so, of course, I'm not going to go in all frantically and, because that's just going to stress them out more. It's more of a, hey, everything's fine. Just relax. It'll all work out. We're going to deal with this calmly, and we're going to actually put one thing at a time. And that's how I calm somebody down.
Yeah. And so what happens if you're telling someone to calm down or to take a breath or something, and you're really helping trying to do that? Like what kind of happens then? Let's say something like that happens, then
okay, so now you're thinking that I'm a therapist.
I'm maybe, I mean, you're
tell me where this is going.
Yeah, I don't know where this is going. This is just a hypothetical question. I just wanted to know. I was wondering where you go. Like if someone you tell someone to take a breath or to calm down, like, I don't know, because that can be another thing. Someone could go, oh shit, like they're telling me to calm, why are they telling me to calm down? And when it's something,
well, obviously, aren't they frantic? Aren't they?
Right.
Isn't something happening? So I wouldn't think they would have the thought of, why are they trying to calm me down? I guess I think what maybe you're going to is, how do you calm somebody down in a stressful situation?
Yeah, I think that's a much easier way and more direct way of asking that question. Yeah, how would you?
Right.
And
I guess my question is, you're a hypnotist, right?
Right.
How would you do it?
I would tell someone to take a breath, and that's a hard thing too, because I've thought about this. If you or if I was in some sort of verbal something with someone, getting all amped up, and then tell someone to to calm down or to take a breath, and like meaning it in the best way. But I don't know, I feel like that's what I would try to do, but it can also.
Okay, so you got to understand too. I mean, I think you obviously know this because of your profession, but the breath, your breath controls everything in your body. So as long as you calm down your breath and your breathing and you get into that natural rhythm of it, things will become more clear in your mind. What happens, I know throughout life, is that if we're in a stressful situation, our breathing gets erratic. And so when our breathing gets erratic and we're taking those short breaths and we're not actually consuming the entire breath for the oxygen to the brain and everything else to calm the nervous system down, that's where the breathing comes into play. Because of the fact, that's why in meditation, you concentrate on that breathing and you concentrate breath in, breath out so that you get your rhythm. And if that rhythm is correct and you can get that under control, well, then that's going to help you out in so many other stressful situations because you just got to get that breathing under control. Because as you know, that causes anxiety attacks as well. The breathing, people hold their breath. They breathe too short. They're going,
Yeah.
and then they start to hyperventilate. So everything comes down to the breath. Everything comes down to breathing.
And so then when did you figure out the breathing secret?
Common
Where did that
sense.
common sense? Had it from day one.
Well, no, I mean, to be honest with you, it's you hear about it. I mean, it's in the conversations of everything that we talk about in life. It seems like, everybody breathe, take a breath, do this, breathe, take a breath before we go into competition, before we go into a test, before we do anything, breathe, control that breathing. So I don't know. I guess I just learned it. I mean, you kind of learn it in high school almost, or you in school, when little kids, it's like, okay, Jimmy, take a breath, just relax. I mean, it's like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
bred it in us.
Yeah. And so then how are you at taking tests? What's your test taking like? Are you sort of were you always pretty good at it? And
I sucked in high school. I mean,
yeah,
I mean, not saying I sucked in high school. I take that back. I was very, very into sports and that's all I wanted to play. So academically, it kind of came easy, I guess. So I didn't study a lot. It's just like I was pretty good. I was good at taking tests. I love math. I love science. I loved everything. I did not go to college, and so I couldn't really go there. But other than that, I'm a pretty good test taker because of the fact that it's just, yeah, you got to control your breathing and you got to control of how you take a test. It's not just your breathing when it comes to tests. It's how you take that test.
what do you mean by that?
Well, if you don't understand answers, you just move on. And you answer everything correctly because what happens in my experience in a lot of tests that I've been taking is everything kind of is correlated together. So maybe you don't understand one question, you move on, you just pass that one, put it towards the end. But then you answer another question, all of a sudden that one kind of triggers and you go, oh, wait a minute, that's what they were talking about in the first question.
Ooh, yeah, I like that. And so are you taking tests now of
No, my girlfriend is. She's actually taking one today, as a matter of fact. She's a
oh,
sonographer, which is ultrasound. And
oh, okay.
she's actually
Wow.
taking her boards today for her vascular. So
Wow.
yes, we have been talking about taking tests and how you take tests and how you breathe through them. You know,
Yeah.
if you don't understand it, move along, and then it just kind of comes down the line.
Have you been helping with flashcards or
You know, she does that
what's
all on her own.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
So yeah, you're there to help get the I mean the breathing part's pretty damn important. And
yeah.
so and yeah, and being there and yeah, I don't know, like taking tests is hard, but if it's something that I enjoy, it's a lot easier. And so was that sort of your part too? Like if you felt like you could really if you really enjoy something, you do well at it, or was it just kind of everything you did well with
No,
that?
obviously, I mean, not everybody does everything well. It's just, sometimes things become easier to others, and there are things that I'm not very good at, and don't ask me what they are because I don't know at the moment. But I'm just saying
Sure.
it's, I mean, it's just, yeah, it's wherever you apply yourself. When you apply yourself and you love what you're doing, most of the time you will do well because you're in the moment. You're present.
Right. And so then when you're in the moment, is that is there a down time after that, or do you need like how would you re recharge yourself? Would you go into doing something by yourself, or would you go into a big party to go see a lot of people or go see a few people, or what's
Ask me
kind of
that
your
question
recharge?
again. I'm not quite sure what the question is.
Sure. Okay. So let's say you just did a whole bunch of whatever it was, some performance of some sort, and something where you said, well, I forgot what the word you used. Um, that you were saying you would get into. I don't know. I'm losing that part. So we'll just kind of start that over. So if you're doing, some, so, I don't know, something that requires a lot of brain power and a lot of being in the moment. That
Like
was what you said,
podcasting?
like podcasting. Perfect example. Okay, so podcasting. So when you're done with podcasting, are you just kind of right back to normal, or do you
Yeah,
need
I
time
mean, it's part of my job. I have my own podcast, Chilling with Ice, and so, I go into the studio, I do my podcast and interview people and have them on my show. And after I'm done, it's just moving on, and I'll have some videos. I may be doing videos that day for V Shred. I may be doing some health and fitness exercise videos for my Instagram. I mean, it's just about moving on.
Yeah, and so that you're just right back.
Yeah,
Energy's still good and still
yeah,
just
absolutely.
going through the day. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that.
What
And
do you do
so
besides
then,
podcasting?
what's that?
What do you do besides podcasting?
Ooh, geez. I like to hang out with my cats.
Okay.
I like to. I don't know. I was a lot more physical. I used to do. I was a pro wrestler a long time ago, and so that's kind of like done now. But the I don't know, yeah, I like hypnosis, hypnotizing people. I like
Why did you decide
I
to
don't
do
know.
the podcast? Curious.
Okay, so I got in way back, like 2013 I got into it, and I was recording on uh well, I did the first few with like a couple microphones because it was I was hanging out with either stand-up comics or pro wrestlers. And so that was like who all my guests were at first. And so, and then, but I also didn't want to pay for hosting because hosting podcasts 12 or 11, 12 years ago was pretty expensive. And so I would put it up on YouTube. So it wasn't really a podcast, but now YouTube has podcasts and it's pretty cool. Like that I don't know. And I don't feel as bad paying for hosting if I need to, but then you can also get hosting for free if you want now, and it's a whole different game. But I had
My question, my curiosity is,
sure.
do you actually enjoy interviewing people and talking to people and finding out what they're about and getting down that road? I mean, is that what you enjoy? Or do you just enjoy putting out a podcast on YouTube and seeing how it goes?
No, I don't care about that at all. Like I enjoy having the conversations. I like getting to have people on that I can usually I'll talk to I'll do maybe 5 minutes or something of a call beforehand to make sure that we're kind of on the same thing and able to talk for a while. And I don't know. I like getting to have the conversations. I like having conversations that start wherever, but kind of go where they need to go for what's going on at the time. And
So
it's always go ahead.
how old were you when Gladiators came out? When American Gladiators came out?
Uh, 6, 7, something like that.
All right, you got
So
brothers and sisters?
yeah, I have two older brothers. So I have a brother that's uh almost 50, and then a brother who I think is 47, 48. And so yeah, I got to. And so I mean, yeah, it was cool. Like and it's cool that you're doing this. And I mean, like that was just a wild time. Like that I don't, because I mean, yeah, there wasn't as much on. It was one of those things that you only have so
It
many
was the first,
channels.
we were the first reality show, literally on the
Yeah,
air. I mean, there was wrestling, but wrestling was different. Wrestling didn't fall under, like, let's say, reality shows. Wrestling was wrestling. You know what I mean?
right.
So
Yeah.
our show was more reality based, like, holy shit, people are trying out to be on this show. So I think that at that time, back in the early 90s, I mean,
It,
that was the big thing, back there. And we call it crash
yeah.
TV, basically, is what we refer to it as, you know.
Um, yeah. And so did you ever see any of the tryouts for
I was there.
you were there for the tryouts?
Of course, I mean, I was on the show for 10 years.
Yeah.
And every year people had the tryout for the show. So they would send us gladiators, not all of us, like maybe two, four of us, it depends. And they would send us to do publicity, PR stuff, like in New York when there's tryouts in New York, the line was wrapped around the building. So we would go there and we'd do a lot of publicity. They'd get a lot of crew out there, film crew, oh my God, look at all these people, trying out for this crazy show. The biggest tryouts were in New York, Chicago, Florida, and Los Angeles. Those were the
What
biggest tryouts. So we would go and we would actually like kind of hang out and do PR and talk to the contestants and, why are they there? Why are they competing? Why do they want to be on the show? We did all that kind of stuff.
so was that kind of where then you started? Were you interviewing the potential contestants then? Or
Not
were you
necessarily interviewing them. We were just there as gladiators, kind of like hanging out, just, publicity, oh, here are
yeah.
the American Gladiators here, and we have contestant that's trying out to be on the show, John, and we would just, talk to him. And it wasn't necessarily like a formal type interview. We would just go down the line and ask different questions for different contestants. And, if they used them on any kind of PR, whether it be a small, talk show or whether it be like in a clip of a newspaper in their local newspaper, things like
Yeah.
that.
So was it a lot about their story as well?
Yeah, they tried
Yeah.
to. They
Yeah.
tried to go, but they more than anything, it was about their story, but it was also about the competition, the grit, what was in their stomach of why they wanted to compete, and nowadays
Yeah.
with some of the reality shows, they go a little bit too far, I think, personally into their personal story. I
Yeah.
mean, we want to know who the person is, but we don't want the entire show to be about their backstory. I want to see the competition.
Right. And yeah, I mean, yeah, there can be so I mean if you're saying so that what yours was the one of the first reality shows, or that you said the first reality show?
One of them, I think.
One, okay.
I think
And
almost first. I don't know what other one came along besides American Gladiators that were a reality show at that time. I can't really remember.
and so I mean, was there a lot of it where you got to like they just give you a mic and you did you know you have to like hit some points, or was it just like they put a mic in your face and here you go, say what you want to get across, or were there
Pretty
like
much.
retakes?
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. Cool. What was there a one part where you ended up getting something that you like to bring it back to each time, and then
Not really.
just
Just really
whatever?
depending on the person's personality, whatever, at that point in time, what was there. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, and I feel like those were the time when a lot of people get their best promos out is usually right afterwards. Like I feel like if someone like going back to wrestling, if someone has one of those uh interviews or promos right after the match, like that's usually when it's very good and very heartfelt and makes a lot more sense and easy to just call it as it is as something instead of it being before it where it's
Right,
you have to
exactly.
kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean I yeah, it's just like and you so what do you like? Okay, so like when I do some stuff Like if I'm doing anytime I'm on like the background of a show or something, what something like that. I'm always wearing clothes that I don't wear anything like that ever. So it always looks like what the hell is he wearing? But and then yeah, then I come home and I'm sweatpants. And so is that kind of what's kind of your deal? Like is it do you have a certain way you go? Like if you're just going out for whatever, like if you're just hanging out, or are you kind of, I don't know, you kind of seem like you're kind of always on the go though too. I kind of get that feeling.
Yeah, but I guess my question is what is the question?
Yeah, that's
What are
fair.
you asking?
Well, so like if you don't know, because if you have to wear uh your I guess you would you call it gear? What was the term for what you would wear when you're on the show? Would you call it your gear or your I don't want to use the wrong
You know what blows my mind?
terminology.
I'm sitting here thinking, going, how is his brain working right now?
Yeah, a
I
lot of
mean,
people ask
I'm
me that
like,
all the
I'm
time.
seriously, I'm like, where's he going with this? What is his brain working like right now? What is he trying to get across? So what you're trying to ask me is, it's called the uniform.
Okay, you call it a uniform. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
cool.
the
Okay.
American Gladiator uniform. I mean, it's not gear. It was our uniform, and a uniform to me is something that you put on when you're actually competing in a particular either sport, baseball uniform, football uniform, soccer uniform, American Gladiator uniform,
Yeah, I like
wrestling
it.
uniform.
Yeah, but we had to call it gear though. We couldn't call it uniform though. And so that's why I was asking if it was something
Interesting.
like that, which is weird too. Like calling it, yeah, like people would say outfit. Was that ever something someone would say? Never.
No, nah,
I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't think people would ask
not at
about
all.
that. And so then, okay, so then I guess that answers that part of it. So, um, yeah, now I'm trying to keep it in one spot here.
Don't keep
Uh,
it in one spot. Ask
oh,
Gladiator questions. I mean, what do you
okay.
want to know about me? You
What do I
watched
know?
me. Okay, so let's put it this way.
Yeah,
You've watched me since you were 6 or 7 years old.
right.
What would you want to ask me if you were 18 and you were watching the show? Because it was on, okay, so let's say 6, 7, 17. I mean, at that point in time, you're probably around 16, 17, a little bit older. I mean, I guess my question is what type of questions would you want to ask a gladiator that you watched your entire childhood?
Cool. Um, well, I was there anybody that ever came on where they were uh I don't know, where it might have been they kind of got too big for their britches. Was that ever
Okay,
a
so
thing?
yes, was there a
That's the
contestant that
very
ever came along that had an attitude that got heated that we wanted to take out?
yeah.
1000%.
And so
Yeah,
then how does that go? Is it everyone hanging out in the back talking like, hey, we got this
absolutely.
guy?
Absolutely. You got it.
That's fun.
Somebody came on the show and they were just attitude and they were just like, I'm going to take you out. I'm going to kick your ass, blah, blah, blah. We would all know, especially because, if it was a girl, we'd discuss it backstage and go, I don't know about this one, man. She's got a mouth on her. She's got an attitude on her. Let's just take this one out because I don't want to go any more days dealing with this girl, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, we would do that. There's no
So
doubt.
then were they on for multiple days? Like
Oh yeah.
if
Yeah, because
they're
if
they
they, if
went
they won their
if they
show,
win.
yeah, it was like, it was a tournament style,
Yeah.
competition. So they continued to go because they were trying to get to the grand champion. So every time they won, let's say their show, they would move on to the next. So
Right.
yes.
And so okay. And so then did you ever have anyone from the audience start to get upset and tried to jump in at something?
No, 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 no. We had security. I mean, it wasn't like,
That's
yeah, it
great.
wasn't like that. We were in a big studio, so we had grips and it wasn't like live wrestling, it's
Right.
like live wrestling to where somebody could actually come from the audience and jump in the ring. Because of the fact that we were in a studio as a controlled environment, we have our production crew, everything else, and everybody was super respectful.
That's cool. Yeah, you can't
Mm-hmm.
beat that. And so then did you have uh when you weren't like on camera, what were you doing backstage? Were you watching the production from a certain spot? Were you or
We had our own dressing rooms. So we could either go back to our dressing rooms, hang out. We had a long time between different events because of the fact we filmed 2 shows a day.
oh,
So
okay,
let's say they
cool.
set up the joust. Let's say they set the joust up. Well,
Yeah.
they'd have, the contestants from one show do the joust, and then they'd get all, 2 girls, 2 guys, and they'd move along, and then they'd leave it up, and 2 more girls and 2 more guys would do the joust. So we were filming 2 shows simultaneously because of the fact it took so long to break down the set and put the other set back up that it didn't make sense to go one to the other, to the other, to the other. So
Oh,
that's why, yeah, every event was, the games were so big that they had to break them down, set it back up. So sometimes there would be 2, 3 hours between events that we would just have to hang out, find something to
oh,
do our event, and come back, wait again. It was a lot of hurry up, sit around and wait.
just like being on any other set.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Um, and so uh and you were on In Living Color once?
I was on In Living Color. I was on a shit ton of television shows back then. A lot of them wanted like the guest appearance from ICE, myself. We were either in uniform or we weren't in uniform on a lot of these shows, So
Yeah.
yeah, I did a lot of those. We had a really good time.
And so what was the furthest away from yourself of a character you've gotten to play?
All
Like
of them. A lot
all
of them. Everybody wanted to put a gun in my hand, to be the
yeah,
villain, to be the bad guy, to be the tough girl, to kick somebody's ass, that kind of fun stuff.
just yeah, wasn't you? And
Well, I
I mean,
always have fun, but it's not like I carry around a gun in my hand and I'm not a badass on the streets. And so it was fun
right.
to play that.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, yeah, were there any wild places that you did you have like I don't know, any weird shoots that you did, like any weird not weird, but like, they have you show up for onset and it's you're out in the not the I don't want to say the woods, but you're out in the middle of nowhere and it's for something and it's I don't know, not I don't know. I don't know how to explain this. Like I don't know. Some did you ever do some weird movie or weird TV show where it turned out different than what you thought it was going to be, or was it always pretty straight up?
All of them were pretty straight up. Yeah, all of them were pretty straight up. So nothing went, array or kind of bizarre or anything like that. Of course there was a film I did in, I think it was in Chicago. And it was the only weird part about that one was it was snowing. It was colder than shit. We were
Yeah.
in some desolate, weird hotel that we were filming in. And it was all I remember about that whole shoot. I remember about that shoot is it was um, cold, dark, in a hotel. I had a gun, shotgun actually underneath my trench coat. I had to rip some. It was fun, but it was very. The shoot was hard because it was so damn cold and snowing, and we had to work around everything, and it was an interesting film. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Did they have you in something warm at least? Like
Not
or
necessarily. They don't really
yeah,
care sometimes. It's
yeah.
like take the jacket off, show the arms, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Say your lines, freeze, try not to,
yeah, literally.
Yeah, exactly.
And so then, let's see. Did you ever have any time when you wanted to like get to improvise more on any of those shoots, or were they all pretty straightforward? They wanted you to do X, you do it, and you're on your way.
No, it was a very straightforward shoot. All of them were. I had my script, said say your lines, do your acting, and then move on.
That's why you have your podcast now, where you can say whatever you want. You can have those conversations you want. You have someone just handing you a microphone. You're that someone,
Yeah.
but which is a nice one too. And so, I mean, yeah. So it sounds like sort of the same thing that I'm doing, where it's you get those real conversations about what needs to get out and what needs to happen, and it's got to be nice going and getting a hold of people you haven't probably spoken to for a little while, and get to have this. I mean, you can get people, uh work with people that are in wherever part of the world. I don't know, you can, if it's Australia, and it's however many hours ahead, you can still work with them. It's going to be a little earlier, but you just have this whole new way to get out and really just
Yeah,
talk to anyone. And
podcasting is a lot of fun, and Zoom makes
yeah,
it definitely to where you can actually speak with somebody across the world in podcasting, and that's what makes it fascinating. And you have your own show, and you could have anybody on because of the fact that
yeah,
Zoom has made it possible. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, shout out for Zoom. And so where's everyone gonna find you? How are they gonna work
Um,
with you?
I would
How
say definitely my Instagram is lori.ice.fetrick, and you can put that in your show notes probably.
Yep.
But lori.ice.fetrick is across all my socials. So Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I have my YouTube channel, which is Chillin' with Ice, and that has
Yeah.
all my podcasts on it. So Chillin' with Ice is also a podcast across, Spotify, everything else. You can find my YouTube, my podcast there. And let's see what else. I mean, that's pretty much, the website. I have a website, lorifetrick.com. I actually have icet-shirts.com, and that is where I can get any type of t-shirt, hat, sweatshirt, all those kind of fun stuff, chilling with ice gear. Yeah. So I have that store, chill. So that's icet-shirts.com. But yeah, I'm keeping busy, trying to get out there and do everything I can before I die.
Yeah, you got plenty of time for that. So,
I hope so.
yeah. And so
you will sleep better than you have ever slept. You've never been this relaxed. Are you ready to change your life? I'm Rusty Diamond, certified hypnotist. You don't need to leave your house. You can stay in your bed. You can stay in your favorite chair. You just need a computer or your phone. You can get a hold of me. Stay at home. I'll make your life better.
Hypnosisisgreat.com.
One more question. So your TikTok, what do you do on your TikTok? I like asking people who are over 30 years old what they do on TikTok.
TikTok and my Instagram. I mean, it's interesting. The two platforms are definitely, a little bit different. My TikTok really just took off, man. That was like insane. I started that a couple years ago, and I think I'm up about 280,000 followers now, which is not a lot compared to some people,
Right.
But at the same time, what do? I mean, entertain, you know what I mean? It's like TikTok is like entertaining more so like, the lip syncing, the dancing, the having fun, that kind of fun stuff. And then the Instagram is building. Instagram is more about the fitness, the wellness, the, everything around those lines. Workout videos, different workout tips, here and there that people can actually get on, motivational, inspirational, anything that, that basically I creating my content.
Killer. Okay, cool. Well, hey, thank you so much, Lori,
You're
for
very
coming
welcome.
on
Thank
here.
you very much.
And
And have a great week. I appreciate it. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
yeah, you too. Do the Thanksgiving and oh, there's breaths. There's breaths to take at Thanksgiving, and so enjoy the
Exactly.
hell out of it. And yeah, you take care, and we'll talk again sometime. All right.
Thank you so much. All right.
You
Bye-bye.
bet. Bye. All right, Lori Fetrick, Ice from American Gladiators. So check her out. You can check out her podcast. Check out all the other stuff she said. Even the Instagram, not the Instagram, the TikTok. But yeah, check her out. Check me out, rustydiamond.net, hypnosisisgreat.com, popuphealing.net. If you want to go for a float and you're in the Philly area, you can go to East Coast Float Spa. Tell them you want the Rusty Diamond special. You can get hypnotized in a float tank. And that's cool. That's in one in Princeton, New Jersey, and one in Westchester, PA. So thank you everybody for being here on the Rusty Diamond Podcast Network. And that is the show. Man. Boom.
It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker. It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker.